This video does not endorse, promote, or glorify any form of illegal or harmful activity. Hey guys, young Psychonaut here and welcome back to another video, and today I do not have a tier list for you guys. Today I'm just going to talk about basically why I made this channel, because the channel's been growing for a little while now, and I feel like with a new influx of a lot of people, I really want to set straight like why am I making these videos. So first of all, let's just get into why I got into substances in the first place. So a lot of people may think that I got into substances because I'm trying to numb myself or I'm trying to escape certain things. And that is not the reason actually. When I was, I think 15 and a half, I smoked weed for the first time just for fun basically. And it instantly transformed my whole view of the world basically. Before that I was kind of, I would say, ignorant but also arrogant. I thought that like I knew all the things that there were to know. Yeah, and that other people were like not really in the loop about things. Then I smoked some weed and that really opened up my kind of view of how different consciousness can be. So that also gave me like a very much an insight of like how other people may have very, very different conscious experiences from mine. And from there I also started to get into philosophy about like, okay, but what is this experience what we're having now? And like how can that experience be manipulated through meditation, through exercise, but also through chemical stimulation. For the first few years, like I just smoked weed, I didn't touch anything else. That was fine for me. But when I was 18, I really did start to get anxiety, social anxiety mostly. And that is when I really started to kind of like use drugs for numbing myself, for escaping reality. Luckily, that was just a short period of 1.5 years. I've talked about this a lot, but in a sense, I stopped using benzos, I stopped using codeine, I stopped using MDMA, I basically stopped using all the substances that I used for escapism. The last few years, last 4 or 5 years, I've really only used substances to either have a fun time, so that's just very low amounts of some substances, and to expand my mind, and not in a spiritual sense, but really in like, I just want to explore consciousness and all the different facets that consciousness has to offer. I've always been really interested in science, and when I did weed for the first time, it was like, wow, you can quantify like how much milligram goes into your body and that can translate in a certain effect on your consciousness. It was very like scientific, and still like I talk about receptors a lot. I think it's really cool that this is a very, very pragmatic way you can kind of explore conscious states and conscious being. That's also why I'm really into psychedelics and not really into very heavy sedatives or uppers, because those kind of drugs don't really give you a mind expansion. Those kind of drugs are more for like escapism, I would say, mostly. I don't really need to escape anymore. I'm really happy. I'm really glad with my life, really happy sober, so I don't like need it. It's just like a little extra on top. So now you know the reason why I got into substances, and that is because I think it's just really interesting to explore consciousness like that. So why did I make the channel then? Well, let me first tell you why I didn't make the channel. So very, very simply, I did not make this channel to promote substances. I did not make this channel to get people into doing drugs. I didn't make this channel to get you guys excited for some new substance so you can try it. I made this channel because I'm deeply, deeply, deeply dissatisfied with the state of drug education in the world. And in my country, but also in the United States, in Canada, UK, the only thing they tell us in schools is like drugs bad, alcohol bad, but a little bit less bad. If that is the only thing that you get from school about drugs, then basically you're gonna fuck yourself up when doing them. Because you don't know what's going on, you don't know which drugs are actually dangerous and which can be used sparingly in context in the right way. If you never get that context, it is so easy to become a coke fiend or to get into like benzos, for example. Because if I had like real drug education in school, where they just laid out simply all the positives, all the negatives, all the interactions, all the pharmacology, I would have never gotten into benzodiazepines. But the only thing they said were drugs are not good, like you should stay away from them. And that's just the dumbest thing ever, because look around you. So many people are using substances, so this whole approach has never worked and will never work. So why did I make the channel then? Because I feel like everybody needs real information, true information, real experiences. Of course, I have tried many drugs. I also haven't tried many drugs. So I'm not an authority on any kind of like substance use, whatever. But I do have a lot of experience with them because I really am interested in exploring consciousness, exploring different novel psychedelics and compounds. I'm really analytical, so when I do a trip, I'm not just only absorbed in what's going on, I'm also really like thinking about how's my mood, like how are different properties interacting with each other, how am I feeling the days after, do I feel positive or negative in the weeks after, like how does it influence my life? I really think that if people get true, honest information about substances, they will make better choices and less people will be damaged or harmed by them. Of course, there will always be people who do dumb things on substances, but I feel like after watching one of my videos, it can only basically go better. I hope that I give the message that you shouldn't do substances willy-nilly and just like whatever. No, you should really approach it with care and with like a good mindset. I think that if people watch my videos, they may get a better sense of like the positives, the negatives, and my experiences with them. Of course, I cannot speak for anybody else, so that's why I can only talk about my experience and the experience of the people around me. But yeah, so that is basically the reason why I made the channel. Of course, it is also entertainment, don't get me wrong. I mean, the tier list videos obviously are entertaining, etc. But I do really want to push the message of like, don't get into drugs if you're not already into drugs. This channel is not for promotion. This channel is for honest information about sharing experiences, about harm reduction. Yeah, maybe a little bit more normalization of drug dialogue in society. I'm not saying everybody should do substances. I'm very much like impressed with people that don't do any substances. But I really feel like in society nowadays, it is so demonized if you're like doing a little ketamine or if you're doing a little DXM or whatever. And alcohol is just so normalized and tobacco is so normalized. And I really feel like we should kind of like address that double standard and be like, okay, but like if you think that this is normal to do every day and to have in every corner store, then maybe we should have a conversation about some of these other substances that are way less harmful, way less addictive, and have way more positive aspects to them. But we kind of like treat them like they're some kind of like demon, or like especially in the United States with the schedule system, like how can acid or shrooms be Schedule 1? Like that doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. I really hope that people that watch my videos are inspired to be careful with substances, to maybe avoid certain substances. And yeah, of course, I will be positive about substances sometimes because that is my true opinion. I think sometimes doing some substances can enhance your life. You should just really be careful which ones you do, how much you do it, how often you do it, and what your mind state is. Yeah, I really hope you guys understand that this channel is not just like, look at me doing substances. It is really about like, how can we all have a better time together doing this? And if you're not doing this, just watch it for entertainment. That's also totally fine. I'm not here saying like you have to be a psychonaut to watch the channel. Absolutely not. Please do not get into substances because of this channel. If you have an innate interest in substances and you are practicing more harm reduction because of this channel, I mean, that's basically what I want. I just want everybody to be safe, and I think that an open, honest communication about this is the only way that we can ensure people are safe and do the right thing. So yeah, guys, this was my little rant basically about why I made the channel. I hope some people can get a very positive message from this and from the channel in general. I hope I don't seem like I'm just pushing substances on you, because that is not what my intention is. Also, just like doing drugs for escapism is not a very good idea. I haven't done any drugs for escapism for about 4 years, and it has been really positive experience. But back in the day when I did do drugs for escapism, it was basically the worst time in my life. So really also know, like, why are you doing this? Are you doing it to get away from something, or are you doing it because you are interested and you want to explore your mind? So yeah, think about that, and thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.